Okay, let's talk about popular culture, shall we? First thing first, there are so many scholars out there offering their interpretation regarding the definition of what is popular culture. What is it really about? What is it exactly? So according to Story in 2018 from the book Cultural Theory and Popular Culture Introduction, an obvious starting point in any attempt to define popular culture is to say that popular culture that is widely favored or well liked by many people. So, one point taken, this thing should be liked by many people. Many people should like it in order to make it popular culture. Now, referring to our first few weeks class meetings of popular culture and pedagogy course back in January, I can still remember, we as a class came up with our collective definition of popular culture, right? And our definition of popular culture as a class is artifacts of everyday life commonly accepted and consumed by those who consciously or unconsciously value belonging to a community. So in other words, to put in other words, I can conclude that everything can be a pop culture, but also as well as not everything can be a pop culture. Is this pop culture? Is this pop culture? Is this pop culture? Is this pop culture? Now, what if I say, what about selfie? Do you think selfie is a pop culture? Yes or no? I can somehow assume everyone will say yes, because it is. The answer is yes. Pop culture, selfie is a pop culture. In fact, Time magazine included selfie in their list for top 10 buzzword in 2012. Then, only in 1 year apart, in 2013, selfie was declared as the word of the year by Oxford English Dictionary. I selfie, you selfie, they selfie, everyone selfie, right? Selfie is popular culture, part of popular culture. Story again writes that given the ease, speed, and preponderance of selfies, they have become a record of everyday life in the 21st century. Not only a product of popular culture, but a tool with which to explore both the understanding and presentation of the self. This is taken from page 126 from the book. For me, personally, selfie is a form of self-love. It is the way we present ourselves, present our identity. When I feel good about myself, I will take my phone and just take selfies. I randomly take selfies for no specific reason at all when I feel good about myself. So, again, identity. Speaking of identity, Brandon Clare from the book An Introduction to Popular Culture in the US, People, Politics, and Power, they say that popular culture therefore provides a means of both shaping our perceptions of our identities and identities of others, as well as way to express these different identities. The presentation of identity is necessary, as identity is culturally recognizable and is a way in which we order and make sense of the world. Now, the way we engage with popular culture somehow defining, or at the very least, it is shaping us as a person. You enjoy K-pop music from boyband BTS, for example. Then you are an army. You love read manga or watch anime. You're a weeb. You listen to Taylor Swift songs exhaustively. Any albums. Congratulations, you're a Swifties. Now, let's move to how we navigate those identities in such digitalized world. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? If yes, yeah, social media. Social media, the place where we upload everything we loved about. Showcasing our playlist on Spotify, for example, our favorite songs to listen to. Or pretend to be a professional movie critics after just watching the movie that just recently released, or going crazy about reading the next episode of our beloved ongoing Netflix series or any kind of series. These are just some of the example of how we put ourselves out there with pop culture, with social media. Other example, yeah, sending memes to your friend, memes that you found somewhere online, and then you think like, my friend need to see this, we need to laugh out loud together. Obviously, this is just not the only way of using social media, and there is never a right or wrong way of doing it anyway. You can basically do anything you want with social media, with pop culture. Like, you do you set rules, you upload everything you love about, everything you care about into social media. Now, shall we talk a little bit more about social media, about globalization, about digital world, about how we actually navigate ourselves in terms of dealing with constant information, constant uploading, constant downloading, constant sharing with social media? Let's talk about social media now. In 2019, an associate professor of computer science from Georgetown University wrote a book. Can you guess what the book is about? You've ever heard the name of the author? If your guess is correct, then congratulations. The book is about digital minimalism. It's called Digital Minimalism: Choosing a Focused Life in a Noisy World. Now, this book is supposed to convince the readers to follow the experiment. So this book is about explaining an experiment that the author already done, that has been reported in the book, by having sometimes off from social media and live the life as if like in the old day, like when this social media not exist yet, like when Facebook not coming into our world yet. So the participant found they feel better, like so much better, living without social media for a while. Also, the participant noticed the improvement in their productivity. I'm not presenting this just to make social media looks bad. This is just what the book is all about. So some people, as the participants, continue doing it free from social media ever since that voluntarily join with the experiment. Some others do it for only certain amount of time and then come back to their favorite social media. One thing I found as the most surprising thing is that the author has no social media at all. So we got this book from someone who has never been involved in social media at all, but also a professor in computer science, encouraging how healthy our life would be without social media. It's just interesting, right? And what about me? Okay, now I'm going to expose myself then. I have done such similar approach before or after reading the book. It's called quote-unquote social media fasting. Sometimes it works for a couple of months. Other times it only lasts like several weeks, not even a month. And the fastest one is within days, less than a week. So I've been doing it for a while, but I keep found myself going back, opening my social media account. I don't know why. I just do it. And I think it only makes sense when we are discussing about social media. We should also address the famous Netflix documentary called Social Dilemma that came out in 2020. Yeah, the year that never existed, the year of coronavirus, the pandemic attack. In 2020, yeah, it came out in 2020, which is the perfect way of how they tell the story of how we are exposed to the bitter truth of social media, of how bad social media is really about. With this one very famous quote if you have ever encountered the documentary, you will find out this interesting quote that if you're not paying for the product, then you are the product. That is like what social media is really about, and how social media is purposely, intentionally making you stay addicted, making you stay come back to their social media sites just because they make you like that. However, after all that, after what we have been through watching the documentary, after we have been through with the fact, bitter truth fact, keep using it anyway. We just keep using it social media. Don't feel bad if you do, because you're not the only one. As I said, me too. I think we all do. I think we all just kind of trapped in this social media. We just cannot run away from it. I know some people actually success in never having social media or completing a close to social media. Also, there is another article, interesting one, written by Dr. Lori. If talking about social media, you can find it online if you're interested. The title of the article is "Straddling Online and Offline Profiles." Yeah, maybe you already have some thoughts in your mind. Online, offline profiles. Millennial search for identity. This article is also included in chapter 2 of the book that is co-authored by Sonia Masik and Heck Solomon. Now, that book, co-authored by Sonia Masik and Heck Solomon, is called Science of Life in the USA, Readings on Popular Culture for Writers. So the articles can be found online, also can be found in the book. Basically, in this article, Laurie explained in the article that there is a study. The study is conducted by a Belgian researcher. The name is Van den Berg. I'm sorry if I pronounced the name incorrectly. And Van den Berg did the study with 4,056 participants. They are 15 to 25 years old, and then the result of the study, they found out that the participants say they would rather blow up some stories or pretend they are having fun on Instagram or Facebook than actually admit that they had some sort of boring night out to their friends and immediate social circles. It is as if we were forced or encouraged to only uploading something good, something so-called positive vibe, something that can make people feel and plausible. And ironically, I found this relatable. We only upload good things. This is because everyone will be more likely to engage with everything good, and will be more likely to, avoiding bad vibes kind of things. The same article from the same study, other participants see that social media is actually something really important. Why is it important? Because it's standard procedure for hiring managers. So it's a standard to check out your Facebook account or your Twitter account or your LinkedIn profiles before you actually going through interview for the job. So Lori agree upon such claim because it has something to do with professional self-branding as well as self-networking. So by this argument, social media is not at all bad, it is also good and recommended. So people use social media to engage with people both professionally as well as socially. They do it in purpose for their future job or to expand their friendship, to expand their circle. It is also worth mentioning that those participants acknowledge that the kind of social media activities that they have been involved with, some of them like leading to really clear implication that related to being narcissist. Like they found themselves trapped in narcissism. They being someone who is actually narcissist and kind of creating false persona, like they're telling something not completely the fact. And I know this video should be about argumentative video essay, but I just cannot not to like actually also put in my subjective point of view. I have issues with social media. Maybe some other people also have issues with social media. Like if I can say I hate social media, like I don't know, just kind of my thing. Just kind of the thing is like whenever I use social media, I feel not really good about myself, like uncomfortable in thing and anxieties. And there's actually some sort of, you know, even though it's impactful, it's also stressful. Even though it is exciting, it's also like depressing at the very same time. So overall, from the book, documentary, to the article that I have discussed in this video about social media, and then somehow connecting all that with discussion of popular culture as a whole, I will then conclude this video essay with a question instead of a standard conclusion. What do you think about social media? Do you think having social media nowadays especially is a must? Is it like required, or do you think social media is optional, like depending on each preference? Like you can have social media if you want, or you also do not have to if you don't like it. I know some people do not have social media, but what do you think about it? Do we really need to have social media? Do you think social media used to be something that is considered optional, that people can choose, but now it seems like it's shifted to be something whether primary need? It's just like something you cannot live without. For example, the internet. Perhaps the internet used to be optional. People sometimes in the past, when they don't use internet, it's okay. But people nowadays, it is as if like they need internet every day, they need internet every hour, because we have been dealing with the activities, everything, texting, calling, doing the work, doing school stuff, everything requires internet. So is social media becoming more like the internet, becoming something unavoidable, something that we, at the end of the day, we cannot really running away from? Do you think we still have our chance to like choose, or we don't have a choose? We don't get to choose. Do we really have options to actually implementing social media in our life, or we don't really have option to do that, or we just all have to follow that we all really need to have social media at the end of the day? What do you think?